What is going on, guys? You got Matt here. I'm the coach of the London Luxray, and I'm gonna go and give you a team preview of what my season 2 draft looked like. We got 2 people dropped out from last season, but we got 4 new players for a total of 11 teams this year. It's gonna be interesting. More people is always better, and I think we got a better team than last year. No Keldeo though, no Scissor, none of my staples from last year, but I think I did well. So with my first pick, I had a pretty low OU pick. I decided to go with Excadrill. The reason for this is because I had an idea of who I wanted my Mega to be, and I knew in order to get that said Mega, I needed a solid rapid spinner. That being Excadrill. And if I didn't get that, my whole draft would have changed. But luckily I got him. Solid attack stat, a really high, decent health, a really good health, pretty low defenses, and a decent speed, with some good abilities allowing me to either ignore, say, Rotom's Levitate, hitting electric types better. Electros too has Levitate, and then Sandforce and Sandrush, 2 Sandstorm abilities, which I've drafted a bit of Pokemon on my team that can learn Sandstorm, which will help Excadrill a lot. Not many weaknesses, resists a lot. He is kind of frail, but he should be a good addition to this team, a good thing to build around. Second Pokemon, we got Lola here, our Azumarill. Fairy Water type, I knew I wanted a Fairy type, and I knew Fairy Water was a solid typing. Plus, Azumarill can do a lot of sweeping, which my team lacked last season. I knew Sean did a lot of, the coach of the Elsa Craig Cutie Flies. He did a lot of sweeping games, and that's the reason his Manaphy beat me in the kill leaderboard. Keldeo had the same amount of kills, but 1 more death or something like that. Just because Manaphy would get 6 kills in 3 games. No, 6 kills a game for 3 games. 18 of their kills came from 3 games. But with the huge power ability, it allows its attack to be double, where without an item it can go to 400 something. It's crazy. With solid attack and defense, solid health and defensive stats, it can take hits. With some solid with a solid typing, that allows it to take a lot of hits. It's only weak to electric, grass, and poison, but if you go up here, it resists electric and poison. That's what Excadrill does, which allows for some good synergy, good defensive synergy. And what was that, grass? No, it's neutral to grass. Third, this is the Mega I was talking about with, I figured out its name. It's going to be Aang, because he's not the hero I wanted, but it's the one we got. So my original pick was going to be Pidgeot Mega, but I got sniped last second. But it's okay, because I think this is my backup Mega, and I think we're going to do a lot of work with this. With Aerial 8 and Quick Attack, plus a Swords Dance, not much can take his hit. I was playing around the other day, and its Quick Attack hits even electric types hard, even though they resist flying. So this guy's gonna be a beast. Has a lot of weaknesses, decent speed. I mean, there's a lot of things that still outspeed it, but it hits a high enough speed tier that I don't always have to rely on Quick Attack. And that monster attack, high defense, that's good. Low health, but has decent defenses, so it'll be able to take a hit or 2. But that monster attack plus 1 Swords Dance, and it could be GG for a lot of teams. That flying Aerial 8 stab too is going to help a lot with my team, because now most fighting and grass and bug types become useless against my team. Pokemon like Conkeldurr, Pokemon like Chestnut, that would normally pose a huge threat, in my mind, to most teams, now can just get swept by this thing. So those are my OU picks. I didn't have the highest OU draft because I tried to dedicate more of my better picks to the lower tiers because I figured there's good things in the OU tier. I could that I would get something good, and then having better picks in the lower tiers after knowing what I had in OU would help me build a solid core. So with my fourth overall pick in the UU draft, I went with Caesar. I don't know. I'm debating on his name. Caesar's the one I had. I like Johnny. Um, that's another I'm number 4 reference. I think I'm gonna go with Johnny. Um, just sounds fun. And I don't know. Caesar's all right, but with pretty high speed. You'll notice with my team that the speed is something that's an issue. I've got a lot of fast 108 Pokemon, but like that's it. Like nothing higher than 108, so I might have to make a drop for a higher speed tier. I have an idea of what I want for that, but it's gonna cost me my defogger, which means I'd have to make another drop. But it's possible. Maybe I'll do it. Mark would be happy because it'd be Flygon that I sniped from him. Uh, but yeah, I'll just go over this Pokemon now. Solid attack and special attack. He is also my Z Crystal. So in this draft, or in this league, only one Pokemon can be your designated Crystal user, just to keep it more like so you have a better idea of what you're gonna face and make the randomness of the battles less. This allows him to hit Fire Blast, hit Focus Blast, Stone Edges, all those moves, and hit stuff hard. I think Infernape's gonna be one of the top Z Crystal users in a draft format just because of its diverse move pool. Weak to a lot of things, but hits hard, hits fast, and I originally was gonna go. Since I had Pidgeot, I was originally not gonna really draft a fire type and just draft Torkoal in the RU draft. But once Pidgeot got sniped in that heat wave, I had to think fast, and luckily this was available because Entei and Arcanine got sniped right before this. Even though this is going to be my first pick. I'm going to move down to my... So this would have been like a 20th pick in the UU draft, and I got Arya here from Airgun. So Grass Psychic typing, not the best because of U-turn capabilities, but and it's weak to a lot of things, but the Amoonguss and... I think it was Amoonguss, and there was another grass type. I think it was this and Amoonguss I was looking for, and Amoonguss got sniped. But Celebi's got a lot of good move. It has a strong move pool with 100 stats across the board. I can run. It adds to the unpredictability of my team. Plus, it can be a fast U-turner, help me gain momentum. Like I said, weak to a lot of things, but the things like electric types and stuff like that I need to water types. It'll be a good water check because not many waters run bug moves. Even fighting, not all fightings run. Again, there's a lot of weaknesses to it, but it can take some hits. I just have to scout out what my opponent has. So yeah, that was just to add to my grass, fire, water core. Now that's completed. And this is the one I wanted to draft first. Luckily, it stayed at the end of the draft because this thing just rips through teams. Stanley, that's another number 4 reference. He's supposed to be 9 in the, that's his alias. But with that 108 speed again, 129 attack, and solid defense, like 90s across the board in defense. So he can take a couple hits, and his good typing allows him to, no, actually his typing makes him weak to 7 of the 18 types, but he's also a rocker, sandstorm user, or just a wall. Like I can make him really fast. A revenge killer. There's a lot of things I can do with him. Plus justified, I can kind of take a knockoff, and then get that 1.5 boost. So he was just someone I really wanted to try, and he kind of adds to the team because he adds that fighting, so I can go fighting specially offensive with Infernape, and I don't always have to go physically offensive with Infernape. this thing adds that. Plus the rock typing is really good. It gives me a although Stone Edge is its best move, it gives me a stab rock type. Um, and again, I just really wanted to try him. And I had Keldeo last year, so this is those two are my favorite of the four. So I figured I may as well, if he was there, I may as well draft him. So I got Galvantula here for my first NU pick, and it's not. Oh, I didn't put it speed, but it's a 108 speed. Not the fastest. I kind of wish I had Jolteon again, but I got sniped ahead of me. It is a sticky web user, which, if anything, prevents my opponents from drafting this and using sticky webs on me. But it's only weak to 2 types, which is good. It's got that compound eyes, which allows its thunders to be more accurate. Swarm, I guess that's the bug torrent, isn't it? Where you're low. If you're low, your bug moves do more. And overall, it's just a fast utility volt switching Pokemon. If my matchups don't have a solid ground type, this plus Hidden Power Ice usually should give me a lot of momentum in games. So, and that will just help for Pokemon like Infernape and Terrakion that want to get in and hit hard. Even Mega Pinsir, like getting that in on something that can't harm it. It game from there, just a Sword Stance or 2 up and just throw off some quick attacks. And this is the one I sniped from Mark. Got Sparks here. My Flygon. I wanted a Defog user, and it also gives me a ground immunity and a Dragon type, which were 2 things I wanted. And it was this. I think it was this, and then I might switch this for a Pokemon, but it's not weak to much, but it has a 4 times weakness to Ice, which is annoying. And I learned from last year, having a lot of 4 times weaknesses it's brutal, because you just you never know, and since Hidden Power is such a common thing that every Pokemon gets it, you just have to does this Pokemon have Hidden Power Ice? Does it have Hidden Power Fire? What does it have? And then and then there's coverage moves, because now say a Scald does, if a Scald was against a ground rock, it does base power 320, and that's just insane. So you don't even need a strong coverage move to hit stuff 4 times effective and do serious damage. But it's gonna provide me a fast U-turner. I can go Scarf and make it a solid sweeper, late game sweeper with Outrage, weaken their team a lot. I think it knows Sandstorm too. I said, it gets Defog, Earthquake, has Stab Earthquake, which is always good for a team. And yeah, that's just more of a utility mon. It was kind of late into the draft, and I kind of had to pick something. But I'm happy with my pick, especially since Mark got really mad at me when I picked it. Apparently, him and Sean were talking about what Mark should pick, and Sean was whispered to him, Flygon's a good defogger, because that's what Mark was looking for. And then 2 seconds later, not knowing they were talking at all, I'm like, I guess I'll go with Flygon. And then he got mad. But, that's the draft. I lost Pidgeot, Mark lost Flygon. So, actually, I think this is my last RU pick. I'm bringing back to Boomstick, the first Pokemon I drafted from my team last year. I just found, looking at my team, there was a lot of physically offensive Pokemon on my team and not many specially offensive Pokemon. And with a scrappy, normal Boom Burst from the Boomstick with it's a solid special attack, but a Stab 140 base power move that goes through specs that hits ghost types. Exploud is one of the best wall breakers on the special side that could be available, especially in such a low tier as RU. Mach Punch and stuff like that can wreck it, but just being scrappy, ignoring subs, ignoring ghost types is just really good. And it gets Surf, and it gets Fire Blast and Focus Blast. It gets a lot of coverage for those rock and steel types that are the only 2 things I think that don't take a Boom Burst that well, or a Boom Burst doesn't do well against. Just throw off a Fire Blast or a Focus Blast, and you most of the time you're clicking Boom Burst anyway, so you'll throw a coverage move or 2 on it, and then just throw something like Sleep Talk or Roar or something like that, because you don't really need any other coverage moves. But yeah, this is going to be, and if I trade Flygon, I'm thinking it's going to be for a more specially offensive Pokemon to help Exploud out. But right now I got Exploud, and Infernape can be special, Celebi can be special, Azumarill could be special. It's not, it'd be more of a utility special side hitter, like Scald or something, but it's not as good special. So this adds to my specially offensive side. Okay, got Gourgeist here again. Next Pokemon I picked from my team from last year. Just like, again, it has a lot of the same weaknesses that Celebi had, but I figured it adds unpredictability. Although they're similar weaknesses, I could bring this instead of Celebi. It's got Leech Seed, it's got Will-O-Wisp, it got Frisk, Shadow Sneak. It's got a lot of cool moves that can help. And its stats are all over the board, but it's got a solid defense in 122. It can have a lot of hit points depending on which one you pick. And it can even have a high speed depending on which one you pick if you want to hit hard. Immune to a couple types here. And yeah, like I said, weak to a lot of the same types. But hopefully, I haven't really used my team much, but hopefully there's a lot of synergy that I'm not knowing of, because although it's weak to a lot of moves, I feel like I have Pokemon that can cover these moves for it, especially in Azumarill that can take dark moves, fire moves. I've got Excadrill that can take the flying moves. I don't know what, I guess Exploud can take ghost moves, and then ice moves again, Ozru. So I got some Pokemon. Second last Pokemon. I think I really don't know what to nickname this Pokemon. Hodor was something I saw, and it's like Garb Hodor, but I didn't like Garb Hodor. Solid defensive stats, decent attack stat. It's not the fastest, but between Aftermath and the ability to lay hazards, both spikes and toxic spikes, it's something I really wanted for my team. Someone with a spike, the ability to spike up. I was going to go Weezing, but Steven sniped it right in front of me, but this is my backup, and it gives me a spike user, which is really good. So I'm kind of happy I got sniped there. But poison typing, it's going to be, I don't know how much I'm going to use this guy. I think I'll use it a lot, or a fair amount, but poison typing, especially with the Tapu's, now a thing. Other than Lele, which is psychic, it's going to wreck some people's day. Throw off a gunk shot there as long as I hit it, I guess. And not many weaknesses either. And my last Pokemon, bringing back Aku. Didn't actually nickname him last year because I didn't use him last year. But he's got a couple weaknesses. Levitate allows him to ignore ground moves, which means this is going to be a very good, other than its really weak defense stat, it's going to be a very good ground switching. And it should be hitting faster than most ground types, so I can get off some good ice moves. Faster than Garchomp, faster than Lando T. These are unscarfed though. The only issue is that most ground types usually have a rock type coverage move, which means this thing isn't going to live a rock move. It could switch into a ground move if I get lucky, and they don't predict me to switch into this. But I doubt people are going to expect me to bring this much, and I don't know, I might bring it 1 or 2 games. It has a very high special defensive stat, so it's going to be useful against some teams, especially some teams with good special Pokemon, and that can't hit on the physically defensive side. Other than that, I don't see how I'm going to be using this that much. But yeah, I'm excited to use him because I didn't use him last year, and Dan was like, use him, and I'm like, it just doesn't fit the battle. But now, and I think I have some good matchups that I can use him, especially with a thinner draft with more teams. I think he'll be used. But yeah, that's my team. I'm excited. I got a lot of physically offensive threats. I guess this is especially offensive threat too. Not as many as I would like, but I think that with so many physically offensive threats, I could just muscle my way through teams. I'll have to see. Again, a lot of synergy, a lot of priority, a lot of setting up. This thing with sand can be set up, belly drum set up, swords dance, nasty plot, swords dance. I think he has a lot of options. Nasty plot, baton pass too. I think he can swords dance. I think he can dual dance, swords dance, rock polish, webs. I guess. Not. I think he has to get dragon dance. He just hits hard. I think he has work up too. He's not really a setup Pokemon, and these ones are more a utility. But I'm liking my team. We play our first match this week, so it's gonna be exciting. I think we can pull out a win. I feel we're gonna have to do well in the beginning of the season because of the 11 weeks. The first 6 weeks are against the new players not used to league format. Plus, I think I played Alex twice, which he finished. I think he finished 8th in the season last year, but he's got a threatening team. So, I think out of those 7 matchups, because I think I played twice next week, I need to pull out a lot of wins because I'm gonna be I faced Brandon at the end of the week, and I think he got one of the best drafts, just with the raw power of his team. So I'm scared for that, but oh, and then Sean is always a pleasure to face with his tricky, like you just never know what he's gonna bring. He just thinks of stuff that you just don't think of. At least I don't think of, like just weird sets, but they work really well. So like I'm gonna have some rough matches that from last season that because they finished first and second in the season last year, and with more experience, it's gonna be rough matchups. But if I want to make playoffs, I think it's gonna start with the beginning of the season. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm gonna sign off, and I will see you at week 1's matchup.